The Pittsburgh Steelers are the definition of insanity. Keep doing the same old thing over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Just look at their quarterback situation. Bring in a vet bridge quarterback who you hope doesn't turn the ball over too much and rely on your defense. And when that doesn't work, you bring in a young quarterback or use the younger quarterback on your roster to hope that he might turn the offense around despite not having anything to work with. And then when he inevitably falls flat, you rinse and repeat the cycle. Just insane. What's also insane is how we keep finding OCs whose play calls are lacking in creativity, highly predictable, and who constantly runs the same play despite the play never having actually worked one time the whole entire season. But we run it faithfully and continue to keep this OC on a roster for way too long for no apparent reason. The league filled with so much young, innovative offensive coordinators, we still somehow manage to find the same type of coordinator that is proven again and again and again, season after season, to not be a successful formula, to not have the answers, yet we still employ them. That is a Mike Tomlin problem. And before I go deeper into any of those other issues, I'd like to address the Steelers fans who don't think Mike Tomlin should be fired or be on a hot seat at all. You are idiots. And to those fans who think once we fire Mike Tomlin, everything will be sunshine and roses, you are also idiots. I'm gonna ask you this. Yes, he has lost 6 straight playoff games, but with the coach, no matter in past tense, present tense, or future tense, no matter who you are, Andy Reid, Joe Madden, Sean McDermott, Sean McVay, Mike Vrabel, with one of these coaches, with the roster we had at the time, was going to be a 2024 Lamar Jackson when we had one receiver on the roster, an aged-up quarterback, an aged and washed quarterback, and an average O-line. In 2023, beat Josh Allen with Mason Rudolph as the starting quarterback. 2 real receivers on the roster. Our horrendous O-line in 2023. Then go to 2021. With coach, past, present, Hall of Fame, what coach was gonna beat a prime Chiefs? What play call was he going to call for us to beat a prime Chiefs when we had 39-year-old Ben Roethlisberger, even worse somehow O-line than 2023 in the 2021 offensive line, a rookie Najee Harris, a rookie Pat Freiermuth, and Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. That's the offensive weapons we gave him to beat Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and them. Like, come on. I know the year before that, we did get demolished by the Cleveland Browns. Truly shameful and black spot on our franchise's history. But Big Ben threw 4 picks. Yeah, that's definitely Mike Tomlin's fault. He also had a worse supporting cast with, instead of Najee Harris, James Conner, and instead of Pat Freiermuth, Eric Ebron. So what was Mike Tomlin supposed to do? Tell him not to throw those 4 picks? Yeah, that definitely was his fault that our veteran quarterback threw 4 picks in a playoff game against a team he's notoriously dominated for his entire career. I just want you fans to just think. Just use your head for once. Think. Yes, Mike Tomlin has some issues, but the main cause and the main downfall of our roster that I've never seen none of these fire Tomlin people ever acknowledged the GM, Omar Khan and Kevin Colbert. Yes, I know Khan has just now taken over as GM as recent as the last 2 years, but before that, it was been stated that he was handling our draft for a couple of years before he took over the head GM role. And drafting, whether it had been Kevin Colbert and Omar Khan, has been the true downfall of this team, more so than any bad coordinator has, or any bad decision Mike Tomlin has made in these last few years. Just look at our draft history since 2018. 2018, we get Tyrell Edmonds in the first round, James Washington in the second round, Mason Rudolph in the third, Chuka Okorafor also in the third. I don't care to name the rest of these guys because they all are non-factors. A truly horrendous draft. This draft alone sets a team back 2 years. Then you follow that draft up with the 2019 draft where we trade up into the 10th overall pick and draft Devin Bush. Then we followed up with 2 third-round selections as Deontay Johnson and Justin Lane. Now, Deontay Johnson, good, decent wide receiver for us. Justin Lane, horrendous cornerback for us. I don't even think he had 10 games as a starter. And that was one of our top 100 picks. We also took Benny Snell, Zach Gentry, Isaiah Buds. Another batch of non-factor factors or not, or players who have didn't produce little to anything for us. 2 back-to-back drafts with 1, maybe 2 players that have been productive for us. And I use the word productive lightly because Devin Bush, all I can say is a miracle he's still on the NFL roster. Then we fast forward to the next draft class. This one, we didn't have a first because we traded it for Mika. We started off with Chase Claypool, a one-hit wonder. Alex Highsmith, great pickup for us. Anthony McFarland Jr., another unproductive player. Kevin Dotson, oh, he's a great player, just not for the Steelers. That's a Mike Tomlin problem. Failing to develop people, failing to have the right staff to develop the proper talent correctly. I'm talking about Kevin Dotson. The rest of these guys are bums, would have been bums anywhere. If any other GM for any other team had that 3-year draft stretch of failure after failure after failure, he would have been fired. He would have been dragged through the streets. His name would have been banned. He would have been banned from their city. But for whatever reason, we give Mike Tomlin on the fact when Kevin Colbert went on a generationally bad draft run. 3 drafts alone set us back 5 years. But then he followed those bad drafts up with, I give it to him, the 2021 draft class wasn't too bad. Najee Harris, an Alabama running back, good in the NFL. Who would have thought it? Fat fire move. Oh, Penn State tight end good in the NFL. Who would have thought? Kendrick Green, as the Texans, how bad he is. Dan Moore, average to slightly above average tackle in the NFL. Then after that, bunch of non-factors. Then after that draft class, he had his magnum opus of bad drafts. I mean, this the cherry on top on how bad he set us back, how bad he's fucked this organization in the last 5 years. Kenny Pickett, mind you, the only quarterback taken 2 rounds. He wasn't even the first overall pick. He was the 20th pick. George Pickens, good. But then we followed that up with DeMario Leal, who's I don't even think he has taken a starting snap in the NFL or taken in 2 years. He also has Calvin Austin, a good gadget guy who this year had to take a step up because we had nobody else to throw the ball to. So somebody had to get the catches. Connor Hayward, good gadget guy. But after that, 2 7-round picks. I'm not going to get on for 2 7-round picks. But so many premium draft picks in the last 5 years. Yet we're wondering how we're not winning any playoff games. Our roster is slowly aging in our attempts to remedy or address some of the problems have gone up in flames due to our inept GM, and yet we blame Mike Tomlin. I know he has some pull. He's been there for like 18 years. I know he has some pull in the GM room, but he's not the GM. He can only use the players that's on the roster. And when you give Mike Tomlin the trash that Kevin Colbert has given Mike Tomlin to work with, why is anybody confused? Why is anybody disappointed on the outcome that we've had over the last 6 years of not having a playoff win when we've blown every opportunity to make this team better with terrible drafting? I'm not absolving Mike Tomlin for any of those issues, but I'm saying, how are we only putting the blame on Mike Tomlin when no coach, I will repeat this again, no coach, any coach we get in the future, any past coaches we have had, any other coaches in the league wouldn't have succeeded at all in the slightest with this roster. Not one with the rosters that Kevin Colbert has given Mike Tomlin. And I don't care about not having a losing record. And I'm saying, hey, maybe a coach might have a losing record. We tank a little bit. No, even teams in the past have tanked. Let's look at a team in our division tanking every year, get a first round pick, hoping the first round draft pick will turn everything around. One losing season to turn it around. No. With Kevin Colbert draft history, draft stock, we've already missed on a prospect like so many others have, and just had a bad season for nothing. Now we got to follow up another bad season, another bad season, another bad season. I'm missing. I'm not saying Kevin Colbert would have missed all of them, but with his draft history, is a damn high good chance he would have. Even with not having a losing season, we don't need to have a losing season to have a high draft pick. The Texans traded to the 2nd overall pick while still keeping the 3rd overall pick. Kansas City Chiefs were 12-4 the year prior when they traded up to get Patrick Mahomes. Jordan Love was the 26th overall pick. The Ravens got Lamar Jackson with the 32nd pick. Jalen Hurts was the 2nd round pick. Brock Purdy was literally the last pick in the draft. It doesn't matter where you find a quarterback, as long as you have a good scouting department, a good development system, develop the quarterback, which we do not have. That is a Mike Tomlin, and that is also a Omar Khan, Kevin Colbert problem. While researching this video, I've come to a disgusting, heartbreaking, truly demoralizing realization. We are the New York Giants of the AFC. Yes, we are the New York fucking Giants. Wait, your franchise QB that was drafted in 2004 retired and your team has been in shambles ever since? Wait, you let your best offensive weapon leave and he immediately has success afterward with someone you hate? Wait, your division rival is dominating the league and has been in the Super Bowl more recently than you? Wait, you won 2 Super Bowls in the early 2010s and you haven't been since? We're actually kind of worse because they won a playoff game more recently, Diaz. I know, a truly sickening thought and situation that we are in right now. To address one issue we have, offense. Quarterback. Everybody says we need a quarterback. But newsflash, put Patrick Mahomes on this team. Put Josh Allen on this team. Put the Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson on this team. Newsflash, we might do slightly better. Like we might be the 18th best offense, but you give any quarterback, whether they be good, bad, horrendous, elite, one receiving threat in George Pickens, and you're not going to have a good passing offense. Now, others might say Arthur Smith schemes were bad. I mean, yeah, he played a part, but again, we've given this team, we're giving our coaching staff nothing to work with. We're giving our OC an empty water gun and telling him to go win a tank fight. Like, the result was already written in stone before he even called his first play. We give a washed quarterback who only throws deep balls, one true receiving threat. Defense keys in and takes him away. And we're wondering, and we're just saying, it's the play calling that gave us the 27th ranked passing offense in the league. And this is why I have faith in Arthur Smith, because despite being clearly one-dimensional in the run game, we still managed to rank 11th. Part of that is Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, but also part of that is good scheming, calling the right plays at certain moments, even though I wish he would please ban the pitch play. Ban it completely. Ban that fucking pitch play. But with slightly above average O-line, the worst receiving core in the league, 2 good, slightly above average running backs, and 2 mediocre at best quarterbacks, and we expected Arthur Smith to do what exactly?
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
We expect Ben Johnson to come here and do what exactly? We expect Joe Brady to do what exactly? We expect any of these other offensive gurus, Mike McDaniels, Kyle Shanahan, to do what exactly with that core of players? Partially, again, Mike Tomlin not emphasizing to the GM how important the wide receiver position is, but also partially on the GM for being absolutely piss poor at his job. We went on a draft stretch of taking George Pickens. All right, receiver. Calvin Austin, a good gadget receiver. Chase Claypool, a one-hit wonder who I wonder what happened to her. Juju Smith, who instead of working on his game, did TikToks. Deontay Johnson, I don't know what's up with him. He's getting passed around more than a cheap hoe from team to team. Before that, James Washington, as I mentioned earlier, a wash. Sammy Coates never did anything. Dre Archer and Martavius Bryant. Well, Dre Archer was horrible for us. Martavius never got on the field for us. Martavius Bryant was showing promise, but he could never stay on the field. And we say the best ability is availability, and he was never available. He is a wash. Marcus Wheaton, good solid player for us. Good solid player, not a starter. Tony Clements, you gotta go all the way back to 2010, Emmanuel Sanders and Antonio Brown for the last Pro Bowl wide receiver we've drafted. In free agency, specifically on wide receivers, the best wide receiver, I mean this unironically, the best wide receiver we have signed since 2010 is Van fucking Jefferson. And I don't got nothing against Van Jefferson. Pretty sure he's a real chill guy, very demure guy. He's the best receiver we've signed in 15 years. Does not have been on the roster previously in 15 years. And you want to move the scope to best receiving option. The only other good receiving options that are better than Van Jefferson have been Vance McDonald and Eric Ebron. And if you move the scope outside of receiving and just best offensive threats. It's been D'Angelo Williams for those couple of years, and it's just absolutely pitiful. In the last 15 years, we have been unable to sign anybody, and I'm sure some people will find a way to make that a Mike Tomlin problem, which I can see a little bit. I mean, he's gonna be in some of those meetings trying to recruit some guys, but that is thoroughly and foremost a GM problem. And when researching this, the Kevin Colbert run of draft picks didn't start in 2018. Hell, 2015 he drafted in 2016. My fault. In 2016, he's drafted Artie Burns and Sean Davis with the first 2 picks in the draft. He did follow up with Javon Hargrave, but after that, it's no factors. Another draft where he only has one productive NFL player, and he's gonna move on to before that in the 2015. Bud Dupree, he had that 1-2 good, but outside of that, he was a wash. And with our second overall pick, and mind you, I was watching football. I've been watching football, and more specifically the Steelers, since like 2013, 2015. I did take a break a little bit after the Tebow loss, but I was watching back then around this time, and I still couldn't tell you who Senquez Golson is and what he did for our team. And he was our second round pick. He was the second guy off the board for us. He's pick 56. I remember Samuel Coates, another wash. Jesse James. I remember some of these guys. I don't remember who Dorian Grant is either. Needless to say, he did nothing. He didn't even do anything in the league. And he was our second pick. And he somehow managed to keep his job. How he somehow managed to keep his job with this draft history. I'm sorry to keep emphasizing, but this is a Cleveland Browns level of ineptitude and draft. And some people are still like wholeheartedly call this a Tomlin problem. Dog, his GM has been as I keep diving deeper, he's a horrible GM. So we had a horrible GM since 2011, a horrible GM since 2011, and we're somehow blaming Mike Tomlin for us not getting back to a Super Bowl. Yes, he has some issues, but he's only the head coach. Not last time I checked, he's only ever been the head coach. He's never been head coach GM like a Bill Belichick, but he's never been that. He's always been just the head coach. And when you look at teams right now, the 2 teams that are in the Super Bowl right now, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, what's the one thing they're doing better than anybody else in the league right now? Drafting. What's one thing they've done in the previous years better than anybody else in the league? Drafting. They signed a couple key marquee free agents, Saquon Barkley. They traded for AJ Brown, but for the most part, their whole defense right now, mind you, the best defense in the league, 95% of it is because they drafted well. Their offense, 95% of it is because they drafted well, drafted and developed well. What's the 1-2 things that the Steelers arguably be the worst at? They've been the worst. I'm clear. I will say this with my chest out. Since 2010, the Steelers have been a bottom 3 team at drafting since 2010, and we are calling this a Mike Tomlin. Need to say we have 2 routes to fix in this offense right now. 1, bring in Justin Fields on a team-friendly contract and get as many weapons as possible around him to see what we have in him. Or 2, the one I am more in favor of, similar to what the Texans just did, the Panthers just did, the Chiefs have done. Go trade up and go get your guy. Go trade up and get a Ken Ward. Go trade up and get a Shiloh. I'm tired of us getting teams leftovers, or teams as fix-it projects. Let's go get us a guy. Let's go get that guy for us. But we probably won't because we're too conservative. We're not really. Like I do agree with fans. Like we just okay with being mediocre, and that's upsetting me. I'd rather just be horrible until we get good again, instead of being mediocre, being 10-7 for years, 10-7, 9-8. I'm tired of that. Let's go get aggressive. And missing that Omar Khan is more aggressive. He made 2 moves, and those 2 moves being Mike Williams and Preston Smith. Preston Smith didn't do nothing didn't do nothing after we traded. We honestly wasted the 5th round pick. I don't care. The 5th round pick is a bust. We wasted the 5th round pick. And I can't remember when we traded for Mike Williams, but caught 1 ball in Washington and went missing like the Avatar after that. Caught 1 pass and went missing. Like his job was done. No, we need to be aggressive. Go actually get a guy. Go get a Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. We got money in free agency. Let's go put the money into our offense. I'm gonna be the highest paid defense. Let's start putting that money. I don't know what to tell you. QB fits is a lot of problems. Look at the Commanders right now. They had the second overall pick not because they traded into it, because they were that bad last year. They got a quarterback, made a couple key signings, and they won 2 playoff games right off the bat. Now we have a better roster than that second overall pick than that Washington team had when they drafted Jay Daniels. We trade up, go get a Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and we can have a run like that. I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl because we have way too many problems to be fixed in one offseason. Yes, we still have problems, but I think one thing that remedy our offense off the rip, give us something fresh, something that's not used good, nothing borrowed goods. I don't want no Sam Darnold. And I swear to God, if Russell Wilson is on this team in 2025, I'm burning everything still as I have. I'm defecting to a Bengals. I'm defecting into being a Chargers fans. At least they have some hope. Now, to get to the other side of the ball, who has less problems, way less, the offense still does have holes. And they have had one major hole on this team since I've been following football, and more so after 2010, 2011, when we went on those 2 Super Bowl runs. And that has been cornerback. The Pittsburgh Steelers since 2011 haven't had a quality cornerback, and again, 15 years. In 15 years, we haven't stumbled upon. We haven't accidentally came across one good corner, one Pro Bowl corner. It's truly impressive how bad we are at picking corner. It could be a haystack of good corners, and we somehow find that one needle of a bad corner. Our fan base has been ecstatic about Joey Porter Jr. Joey Porter Jr. is at best above average, solid starting cornerback, and we treat him like he's a downright already a Hall of Famer. We treat him like he's Sauce Gardner or something. He's a good quality starter, and we cheered it for that because we haven't had that since Ike Taylor. I mean, let's go back into our GM. Let's go back into his draft history with corners. I know he traded for a washed-up Joe Hayden. I know he signed a washed-up Patrick Peterson. And we honestly could just kept that money. We could have kept that trade. We could have kept them picks. Well, no, we couldn't have because he probably would have did worse. Let's go. I'm going to go all the way back to 2011 to show you the ineptitude of Kevin Colbert picking a secondary, really. I know we traded for Mika. We got Deshaun Elliott recently, but corner has been that one consistent problem that haunts the Steelers in a passing area. That's the thing that blows me. While the league is going more and more and more and more into a passing offense, passing defense has been very integral to that, and we continuously missed on the most important position at stopping passing games. But since 2011, he's drafted Curtis Brown, Cortez Allen with the 3rd and 4th overall pick. I know the 3rd and 4th, they were washes though. 2013 with the 4th overall pick, we took Marco Thomas. I know a 4th overall pick, but another fail. 2016, we took Artie Burns, Sean Davis. 2 of the worst secondaries to ever touch the field, to ever play the game of football. 2 of the worst to ever be an NFL professional. And he drafted them with the 25th overall pick and the 58th overall pick. Our first 2 are the most premium spots. We drafted those 2. Then we followed that draft up with Cameron Sutton. Will agree with me where he said he should have never put on that black and gold. We should have never brought him back. I don't know why we brought him back. We should have never did it. 2018, we all know how bad Tyrell Edmonds is. He couldn't guard an inch of grass. He couldn't guard a paraplegic. 2019, Justin Lane. Somehow worse than Artie Burns. Somehow worse than Courtney Sully. This team's history just disgusts me. And of late, it's been just only Joey Porter, and we got Benny Bishop, who's decently. I know we were able to find some quality guys like a Mike Hilton, but we let him walk after 2-3 years. At one point, he was our best corner, if not our second best, with the washed-up Joe Hayden. But we never had anything close to a Pro Bowler. I know Joe Hayden made the Pro Bowl maybe once or twice with us, but that was because the Pro Bowl standards have greatly decreased. Well, we've been missing a truly good Pro Bowler, a truly good all-pro at the cornerback position, and that's really hurt us. Another issue for our defense, Austin. Tyrell Austin, our defensive coordinator, he should have been fired. He should have been fired as soon as the season ended. His poor defensive schemes, and that was very evident in our last playoff game against the Ravens. All year or the last 4 years, we've been able to successfully contain Lamar Jackson. But this genius, this 10,000 IQ guy, decides to finally switch up the scheme on the Ravens, and doing so, give up 300 yards rushing. Not because they just figured out that scheme. No, the scheme was to allow them. I'm fully convinced the scheme was to allow them to rush for 300 yards. Mind you, they didn't have Zay Flowers, so we could have been a little more aggressive in the run game, and they still rushed for 300 yards on us. Are you dumb? TJ Watt was for the entirety of the year. TJ Watt was getting touched by at least 3 players every play. And every play we had him in the same spot. I know we ran every now TJ Watt was on the field. He was in the same spot. The offense to just scheme him out without moving around stunts, running a blitz off the back end, so they can't. We just allowed the chip to happen, and he's like, "Oh, TJ is gonna beat 3 guys and get to the quarterback in 2 seconds before our horrible or less than average secondary gives up a open slant route or open go route." And that's another thing I have an issue with on this defense is Minkah Fitzpatrick. Hey, I'm watching him clearly in regression, and nobody's there to accept it. Some people say he's in the wrong spot, wrong position, but maybe he can just do safety things. We have him playing at the safety position, correct? He's getting paid $20+ million a year, correct? He's an all-pro safety, correct? And what is a safety job? Stop big plays and play cleanup on the run. What has Minkah been horrible at this year? Stopping big plays and playing cleanup at the run. From the Browns game where they was just throwing slants right in his face and he unable to stop it, to him getting stiff-armed by Derrick Henry. I know it's Derrick Henry, but him getting stiff-armed. Or when a crucial third down happens and he has to make one open field tackle, he's failing to do so. Yeah, he's regressing. This is not the Minkah from 2-3 years ago. He got to go. In conclusion, Mike Tomlin's seat should be high. It should be burning. It should be almost set ablaze due to his unwillingness to move on from coordinators, and also his lack of developing or finding people to develop 3 of the most crucial positions in this modern NFL, being quarterback, wide receiver, and corner. But also the GM. I know Omar Khan just got here, but we've been a victim of horrible GM selection for many years. Omar Khan has had a factor in it. I know he's not just now being named the head GM, but he's been with this organization for many years. He's been a part of the draft process for many years. He should not be given any slack or as much slack. He should be given as much slack as Mike Tomlin. If we don't see major changes in the way we operate and we go about acquiring talent this offseason, Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan should be absolutely, there's no defending them, fired 2026 season. But other than that, leave a like if you like the video. Leave a comment on what you think this 2025 on what you think the Steelers should do this offseason. And other than that, have a blessed one.